My dear brothers and sisters, let me ask you something that touches the heart. Have you ever reached a point where you are doing everything you can, yet nothing seems to move? You are making dua. You are trying to stay patient. You are trusting Allah as best as you know how, but the situation remains unfinished. And quietly, without saying it out loud, your heart wonders, Ya Allah, am I being left behind? Listen to this very carefully. When Allah keeps something unresolved, it is not neglect. It is precision. It is mercy working in silence. If Allah completed it too soon, it would not stay. If He revealed everything now, it would overwhelm you. If He answered before your heart was ready, it would break what He intends to bless. So Allah slows the world around you while He strengthens the world inside you. This waiting is not empty. This silence is not distance. This pause is not punishment. It is Allah finishing something so perfectly that when it finally reaches you, your heart will be calm, your faith will be firm, and you will say without doubt, Ya Allah, now I understand why you made me wait. Allah completes meanings before He completes events. Before Allah completes an event in your life, He works quietly on your heart. He knows that the same situation can either become a blessing or a burden, depending on how your heart receives it. So Allah does not rush the outcome. He prepares you first. If what you were waiting for came too early, it would become the center of your peace. Your happiness would rise and fall with it. Your heart would hold it tightly, afraid to lose it. Allah does not want your peace to be fragile like that. He wants your heart to be steady, calm, and rooted in Him. That is why before anything changes on the outside, Allah begins changing how you feel on the inside. He slowly adjusts your expectations. He softens your urgency. He teaches your heart that life can still move forward even without that one thing being resolved. You may notice that something you once thought about all the time no longer controls your emotions the same way. It still matters, but it does not shake you like before. This is not because you stopped caring. It is because Allah is teaching your heart how to carry it correctly. Allah knows that if He gives you something while your heart is not ready, it can turn into anxiety instead of gratitude, fear instead of joy, pressure instead of peace. So He finishes shaping the meaning first. He teaches your heart how to receive without fear, how to hope without desperation, and how to trust without conditions. When the event finally happens, it will not overwhelm you. It will not confuse you. It will fit naturally into your life. You will be able to accept it calmly, without panic, and without losing yourself in it. This is why waiting often feels like inner change more than outer change. Allah is not ignoring what you asked for. He is making sure that when it arrives, it adds to your life instead of controlling it. Allah ends emotional dependency before He ends situations. Sometimes Allah allows a situation to remain unfinished because your heart is still holding on to it in a way that is hurting you. Not because you love it, but because you feel like you need it. There is a big difference between caring and depending. Allah sees that difference clearly even when we don't. When the heart becomes emotionally dependent, peace disappears. Your mood depends on messages, signs, outcomes, or people's actions. One good moment lifts you up, one bad moment breaks you down. Allah does not want your heart to live like this. He wants your heart to be safe, steady, and dignified. So Allah delays the ending. Not to punish you, but to slowly loosen that unhealthy grip. He allows time to pass so your heart learns how to breathe without constant reassurance. He teaches you how to wake up, function, and keep going even when the situation is still unresolved. At first, this feels uncomfortable. You feel restless. You keep thinking about what might happen. But slowly, without you realizing it, your heart begins to detach. You stop checking as much. You stop replaying every detail. You stop building your happiness around one possible result. This is Allah strengthening you. He is teaching your heart that its survival does not depend on people, outcomes, or answers. Your heart starts finding calm in other places, in prayer, in routine, in silence, in trusting Allah more than the situation. When emotional dependency ends, fear weakens. You are no longer terrified of losing something because you are no longer empty without it. Your heart becomes whole on its own. And only then does Allah move the situation toward its ending, whatever that ending may be, because Allah knows that if He ends the situation while your heart is still dependent, the ending would break you. So He heals your attachment first. When the ending finally comes, you are able to accept it without collapsing. You may feel sadness, but not destruction. You may feel relief, but not obsession. This is mercy. Allah's not keeping you stuck. He is making sure that when things end or change, your heart remains standing. Allah removes the illusion of control before granting outcomes. Many times, before Allah gives an outcome, He takes something away from us first, the feeling that we are in control. We often believe that if we plan well enough, try hard enough, or do everything right, we can force life to move the way we want. Allah gently breaks this belief, not to make us feel weak, but to make us honest. You may notice that you are still making effort, still doing your part, yet the results feel uncertain. Things no longer respond exactly the way you expect. This can feel frustrating and confusing, but it is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is Allah teaching your heart a deep truth. Effort is your responsibility, but outcomes belong to Him alone. When Allah removes this illusion of control, it humbles the heart. It teaches you to act without arrogance and hope without demands. You learn to say, I will try my best, but I leave the result with Allah. This is not giving up. This is surrender with trust. At first, losing that sense of control feels scary. The mind wants guarantees. The heart wants certainty. But Allah wants you to feel safe. Even without those things, He wants your trust to be in Him, not in your plans. Slowly, you begin to understand that control was never truly yours. You stop blaming yourself for every delay. You stop carrying guilt for things that were never in your hands. Your heart becomes lighter because you are no longer pretending to manage what only Allah can manage. When this lesson settles, peace enters your life in a new way. You work, you pray, you hope, but you no longer panic. You no longer try to force doors open. You wait with calm instead of desperation. And only after this understanding becomes firm does Allah bring the outcome. Because now, when it arrives, you will not take credit for it, nor will you fear losing it. You will recognize it for what it truly is, a gift from Allah, given at the right time, in the right way. Silence often means Allah is editing your future, not your present. There are times when you ask Allah for change, but nothing around you seems to move. Your days look the same. Your situation feels frozen. This silence can make the heart uneasy, because we expect Allah's help to show up immediately in what we can see and feel. But Allah does not always begin with the present moment. Often, Allah works ahead of you. He prepares what is coming before. He touches what you are living in now. While you are focused on today, Allah is arranging tomorrow. While you are asking for relief in this moment, Allah is shaping the path that will protect you later. This is why silence does not always mean delay. Sometimes it means redirection. Allah may leave your current situation unchanged because the real adjustment is happening in the future. People, opportunities, timing, and circumstances are being aligned quietly without your awareness. You might feel like your prayers are unanswered, but in reality, they are being answered in a way you cannot yet see. Allah knows that changing the present without fixing what lies ahead could lead you back into struggle. So He edits what comes next first. This kind of waiting teaches trust. It trains the heart to believe in Allah even when there are no signs, no confirmation, and no visible movement. It teaches you to rely on Allah's wisdom rather than your own understanding of time. One day, when the future finally arrives, you will realize that it feels prepared. Things will open smoothly. Events will connect naturally. You will look back and understand that the silence was not emptiness. It was careful planning by Allah. So if today feels quiet and unchanged, do not lose hope. Allah may not be fixing your present because He is protecting your future. And when that future reaches you, you will see that nothing was random, nothing was wasted, and nothing was late. Allah delays until the answer no longer replaces Him in your heart. Sometimes Allah delays giving you what you are asking for because He sees something happening inside your heart. The request itself has started to take too much space. You think about it often. You measure your happiness by it. You feel close to Allah only when you imagine receiving it. Allah, in His mercy, does not allow anything to take His place in your heart. At first, you may not notice it. You tell yourself you are just hopeful. But Allah sees deeper. He sees when a desire slowly becomes the source of your peace, your motivation, and your emotional stability. And Allah does not want your heart to be attached to the gift more than the giver. So Allah delays, not to disappoint you, but to realign you. He waits until your heart learns how to stand with Him, even if the answer does not come right away. He waits until your prayer becomes sincere worship, not a transaction. You continue to ask, but you also learn to trust, accept, and rest. During this time, something important changes. You still want the answer, but you stop chasing it with anxiety. You stop feeling like your life is incomplete without it. You start finding peace in being close to Allah, even while the situation remains unresolved. This is a sign of growth. Your heart is learning to love Allah for who He is, not just for what He gives. And this is exactly when the answer becomes safe for you. Because if Allah gives you something while it still controls your heart, it can distract you from Him. It can make you forget gratitude once you receive it. It can turn into fear of loss instead of joy. So Allah waits until the answer no longer replaces Him in your heart. And when it finally comes, it does not pull you away from Allah. Instead, it brings you closer to Him. You receive it with humility, gratitude, and calm, knowing that Allah was always the real source of your peace. Allah breaks your timeline so you stop measuring His love. Many times, without realizing it, we begin to measure Allah's love by when things happen. If something comes quickly, we feel chosen. If it takes time, we feel forgotten. Allah, in His mercy, breaks this way of thinking, because His love was never meant to be measured by speed. You create timelines in your mind. By this age, this should happen. By this time, that should be solved. When those timelines collapse, the heart feels disappointed, even though Allah has done nothing wrong. So Allah gently dismantles these expectations, not to hurt you, but to free you. When Allah breaks your timeline, He is teaching you that His care is not proven by urgency, but by wisdom. Some of the most beloved servants of Allah waited long. Some waited years. Some waited through silence. Yet, they were never unloved. At first, losing your timeline feels like losing control. You feel unsure. You don't know what to expect anymore. But this is exactly the space where trust grows. You stop counting days. You stop comparing your life to others. You stop feeling late or left behind. Your heart slowly learns to rest without deadlines. You begin to understand that Allah's timing is not slow and it is never careless. It is exact. Every delay is placed where it needs to be. When this lesson settles, something beautiful happens. You no longer rush Allah. You no longer question His love when things take time. You wait with dignity, not desperation. With hope, not pressure. And when Allah finally gives, you realize something important. The waiting did not mean you were less loved. The waiting was part of how Allah was taking care of you all along. Allah completes you, so the outcome doesn't complete you. Allah does not want the outcome to become your identity. He does not want your worth to rise and fall with what you receive or what you lose. So before He gives you anything big, He works on you. If the answer came while you were still searching for yourself through it, you would attach your value to that outcome. Your confidence would depend on it. Your happiness would depend on it. Allah loves you too much to let that happen. So Allah completes you first. He strengthens your sense of self. He teaches you who you are, without titles, without people, without achievements. He allows moments where you stand alone, not to break you, but to show you that you are still whole. During this time, you may feel like life has slowed down, like you are being stripped of distractions, like you are learning to sit with yourself. This is not emptiness, this is formation. Your heart becomes more stable. You stop needing constant validation. You stop chasing things just to feel complete. You begin to feel grounded even when nothing special is happening. Only when this inner stability is formed does Allah allow outcomes to arrive. And when they do, they no longer define you. They add to your life instead of holding it together. If Allah gives you something after completing you, you enjoy it without losing yourself in it. You can hold it without fear, you can lose it without collapse, you remain steady either way. This is why Allah finishes you before He finishes the situation. Because a complete heart can receive blessings without being owned by them. Allah resolves the inner argument before resolving reality. There is a moment Allah brings a deep quiet inside you before anything changes outside of you. Before the situation moves, before answers appear, before doors open or close, Allah settles the argument that has been exhausting your heart. For a long time there is a conversation happening inside you. You question everything. You ask why this happened, why it did not happen, why Allah chose this path for you. Your mind goes back and forth. One day you feel hopeful, the next day you feel tired. One moment you trust, the next moment you doubt. This inner noise becomes heavier than the situation itself. Allah sees that as long as this inner argument continues, any external change will not truly help you. Even if the situation improves, your heart will still be restless. Even if the answer comes, your mind will keep asking questions. So Allah does not rush to change reality. He first brings calm to your inner world. Slowly, without you noticing, the questions begin to lose their strength. You stop demanding explanations. You stop replaying the same thoughts over and over again. The need to understand everything starts to fade. Not because you got answers, but because your heart no longer needs them. This is a very important stage. Allah is teaching your heart to trust Him without conditions, to accept without full clarity, to believe even when the picture is incomplete. This is not weakness. This is maturity of faith. At first, this inner quiet may feel strange. You might think something is wrong because you are no longer reacting the way you used to. You are not as emotional. You are not as desperate. You are not as impatient. But this is actually a sign that Allah is strengthening you from within. You begin to wake up without that heavy feeling in your chest. You think about the situation less. When it comes to mind, it no longer controls your mood. You can talk about it without breaking down. You can think about it without panic. This is Allah resolving the inner conflict. The situation may still be the same on the outside, but you are no longer fighting it on the inside. Your heart stops arguing with destiny. You stop trying to negotiate with Allah. You stop saying, if only this had happened sooner, or if only that was different. Your heart quietly accepts that Allah knows what He is doing. This inner acceptance is not forced. It is gentle. It settles naturally. It comes from repeated reminders, from small moments of peace, from realizing that worrying has never changed the outcome. Allah allows you to reach a point where your heart finally rests. Once this inner argument ends, fear weakens. Anxiety loses its grip. You are no longer scared of any possible outcome. Whether things move forward or end completely, you trust that Allah will carry you through it. This is a powerful place to be. Only after this inner peace is established does Allah move reality. Because now, whatever happens will not destroy you. If the answer comes, you will receive it with calm. If the door closes, you will accept it with strength. Either way, your heart will remain steady. Allah knows that changing reality without calming your heart would only shift the struggle, not remove it. So He resolves the inner conflict first. He heals the unseen wounds. He quiets the loud questions. He replaces resistance with acceptance. When reality finally changes, it will feel natural. It will not shock you. It will not overwhelm you. It will feel like something that fits into the peace Allah already placed inside you. This is why sometimes the greatest sign that Allah is working is not what changes around you, but what becomes quiet within you. What Allah is finishing must arrive with peace, not relief. There is a big difference between relief and peace. And Allah knows that difference better than we do. Relief is loud. It comes with strong emotion. It feels like a heavy weight suddenly dropped. Peace is quiet. It settles gently. It stays even when emotions calm down. What Allah is finishing in your life is not meant to shock you with relief, but to rest inside you as peace. Many times we think we want relief, we want the pain to stop, we want the pressure to end, we want answers quickly so we can finally breathe. But Allah knows that relief alone does not last. Relief can fade. Relief can turn into fear of losing what was gained. Relief can even turn into new anxiety. That is why Allah delays. He does not want to give you something that makes you feel good for a moment and worried the next. He wants to give you something that feels stable, safe, and settled in your heart. When Allah is finishing something properly, it does not arrive with chaos. It does not arrive with panic. It does not arrive with disbelief or emotional shock. It arrives quietly in a way that feels right, even if it is big. You may notice this in your own heart. When you imagine the answer coming with excitement mixed with fear, Allah holds it back. But when your heart reaches a place where you can receive it calmly, without desperation, Allah allows it to move closer. Peace means you are not afraid of the outcome anymore. Peace means you trust Allah even after receiving it. Peace means you are not constantly checking, worrying, or protecting it out of fear. Peace means you can enjoy the gift without being owned by it. Allah knows that if something enters your life with relief only, it will keep your heart restless. You will always fear it ending. You will always worry about maintaining it. You will always feel pressure to hold on to it. Allah does not want that for you, so He waits. He allows time to pass until your heart becomes calm enough to receive without shaking, until your trust in Him becomes stronger than your attachment to the result, until your faith is steady, not emotional. When Allah finally allows what He is finishing to arrive, you may be surprised by how calm you feel. You may expect tears, excitement, or strong reactions, but instead you feel settled, you feel steady, you feel like this fits naturally into your life. That calm is not emptiness, it is peace. It is the sign that Allah delivered the answer in the safest way possible. Even if the outcome is different from what you expected, if it comes with peace, it is still a gift, because peace protects the heart. Peace allows you to move forward without carrying emotional damage. Allah does not rush what must enter your life gently. He does not deliver blessings that arrive like storms. What He finishes arrives like calm water, steady ground, and quiet certainty. This is why waiting often feels long. Allah is not just arranging events, He is shaping the way those events will live inside your heart. And when they finally arrive, they will not disturb your faith, your balance, or your connection with Him. So if you feel like nothing is happening yet, remind your heart of this truth. Allah is not preparing relief that fades. He is preparing peace that stays. When Allah finishes, you will no longer ask, why did it take so long? When Allah finally finishes what He has been working on, something very quiet but very powerful happens inside your heart. You stop asking questions, not because everything was explained to you, but because your heart no longer needs explanations. The need to understand every delay, every tear, every unanswered prayer simply fades away. Before this moment, your mind was busy replaying the past. You kept thinking about how long you waited, how much patience it took, how painful the uncertainty was. You wondered why others seemed to move ahead while you were standing still. You questioned why Allah chose this path for you. These thoughts felt heavy, and sometimes they made the waiting feel unbearable. But when Allah finishes, all of that disappears. The heart reaches a place where it can finally say, now I understand, even without words. You see clearly that if things had happened earlier, they would not have lasted, they would not have fit, they would not have been safe for your heart, your faith, or your future. You begin to notice how much you changed during the waiting. You became calmer, you became stronger, you became more aware of Allah. You learned patience not as a forced act but as a natural state. You learned to rely on Allah instead of people, timelines, or outcomes. These changes did not come overnight. They were built slowly, quietly, during moments you once thought were wasted. When Allah finishes, you realize that the waiting was not empty time, it was shaping time. Every delay removed something harmful from your heart. Every unanswered prayer softened you. Every moment of uncertainty trained you to trust Allah more deeply than before. You no longer say, why did this take so long? Instead you say, if this had happened sooner, I would not have been ready. You see how your old self would have mishandled the blessing. You see how fear, immaturity, or attachment would have ruined what Allah later gave you in peace. This understanding brings a deep sense of gratitude. You thank Allah not only for what He gave, but for what He withheld. You thank Him for the doors He kept closed. You thank Him for the silence that protected you from rushing into something that could have harmed you. There is also no bitterness left in your heart. You do not feel jealous of others anymore. You do not compare your journey to theirs. You accept that Allah writes different paths for different people, and that each path carries its own wisdom. When Allah finishes, you stop measuring your life by speed. You stop thinking you were late or left behind. You understand that your journey unfolded exactly as it needed to. Nothing was early, nothing was late. Everything arrived at the right moment. You also stop fearing the future the way you used to, because now you have seen with your own heart that Allah knows how to take care of you. You have lived through delay and survived it. You have seen how Allah turned waiting into preparation. This gives you confidence that whatever comes next will also be handled by Him. Even the pain you once felt begins to make sense. Not in a way that excuses the hurt, but in a way that shows its purpose. The pain kept you humble. It kept you close to Allah. It kept your heart soft when it could have become hard.